The Tamil Tigers are on the run. Earlier today, Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa officially declared that the key town of Kilinochchi had been captured by the Sri Lankan army from the Tamil Tigers. And then he went on to issue an ultimatum. He said to the Tamil Tigers, this is your last chance to surrender. In the middle of all this, what we do know is that LTTE Chief Prabhakaran is on the run, and in another related development about 6 o'clock this evening India time, the LTTE carried out a suicide bomb attack in which three people were killed. That's outside the Sri Lankan Air Force headquarters. Now, what are the implications of this? A country so close to India, and if this situation reaches a point where the Tigers are smashed, what does it mean for us? Several points of view to look at. Well, let's introduce our guests from Sri Lanka. We have live from Colombo, Jeehan Pereira on the top right of your screen, Director of the National Peace Council of Sri Lanka. On the bottom right of your screen is K. Venkatara, Deputy Political Editor of the Times of India in Chennai. On the bottom left is General Kalkatt, former IPKF chief, knows the Tamil Tigers like the back of his hand. And Dr. Subramanian Swamy, so well versed with this entire matter, also with us from New Delhi. Thank you very much, gentlemen, all of you, for coming in. Now, let me begin by asking you, General Kalkatt, first. If the Tamil Tigers are smashed, what happens? What happens next? What happens to an army that is smashed, has no land left to operate out of?
Tamil Tigers is not an army, it's a guerrilla force. And I do not see it being smashed merely by the fall of Kilinochchi. It is a political significance but not a military significance. The ultimate battle for the control of the northern province will be fought in the jungles of Vani.
Okay. Let me come to you, Jeehan Pereira. Is that also your assessment, that this is towards the end game, but it's not the end game for the Tamil Tigers?
It is a very important victory for the government, both psychologically and militarily. Militarily, because it enables the government to have greater access to other parts of LTTE controlled territory. But I do agree that the conflict is likely to now see a change from being a conventional war to being a guerrilla and terrorist war, because that has been the original nature of the LTTE.
Right, Dr. Swamy, let me bring you in. If the LTTE is in the kind of position that the Sri Lankan government is claiming, how much support can they really expect from India? From the various sections that are known to be pro-LTTE.
As far as the LTTE is concerned, they cannot expect any support from India.
No, I meant the various
but they, of course, there will always be clandestine support from parts of Tamil Nadu.
That's exactly what I meant, Dr. Swamy.
The fact of the matter is that the LTTE today has lost its reputation with the loss of Kilinochchi. They have now gone from a de facto state to a stateless actor in the Sri Lankan scene, and to that extent the Sri Lankan government deserves to be congratulated.
Well, Venkat, now you'd remember that on the 29th of December, there was a lot of equipment that was being sent. So I think from Rameshwaram to the Tamil Tigers. This included satellite phones, ammonium nitrate to be used in explosive. It seemed a last-minute desperate attempt to help the Tigers. Now my question is, who is helping them? Who is helping them, and how are they operating so openly?
Well, some clandestine forces have been operating all the time, but I don't think the LTTE is greatly dependent on Tamil Nadu for most of its supplies, because its armaments come from other nations. Probably they need, additional supplies in the form of explosive substances, some sort of ball bearings, gensets, fuel, medicines and clothing. But, the substantial portion of their warfare equipment, I still think they do not depend much on Tamil Nadu. Even though they do maintain a sort of supply line.
Yeah. General Kalkatt, in your view, the big question, where is Prabhakaran?
Prabhakaran would be somewhere south of Mullaitivu, more towards the Niti Kaikulam area. If you recall, when we were there, the final battle to wrest control of the northern province was fought at Niti Kaikulam, after which I was able to announce that we were ready for the elections. And that is the area which he will be operating in. It also gives him access by the sea on the east coast to hop from one place to the other.
Jeehan Pereira, staying with Prabhakaran, is he an aging warhorse now? What is the reason he's facing such reverses right now?
Well, I think one major reason is that he's facing in the Sri Lankan government and the Sri Lankan president a very resolute leadership that is prepared to expend any amount of soldiers and resources to overpower the LTTE. And since Prabhakaran has been fighting a conventional war, the conventional superiority and firepower of the Sri Lankans has been too much for him.